Hi, I'm John from Gentlemen and Whiskey.
And I'm Brad from 717 Bourbon Society.
And sometimes Gentlemen and Whiskey.
Occasionally.
And today we're drinking Woodford Batch Proof because Brad looks like he owns a horse.
It's the best. So today we're going to be tasting three different versions of Woodford's Batch Proof. This is kind of in conjunction with their Master Distillers collection. So they have, I think we're up to 19 or 20 of the Master Distillers collections. They've been doing those as annual releases as well. So these kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, what was Sonoma finish? Because Sonoma finish is the last one.
I want to say it was 19. So Sonoma is either 19 or 20.
Okay.
Because I'm almost positive the 5 stouted mash is 18, 17. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I had 16.
It's 17.
I had 16, and that was the very fine rare. This doesn't matter at all.
Nope.
I don't know why we're still talking about this. Because we're drinking batch proof, and this is, I think, clearly our more favored product.
I don't find myself buying a lot of Woodford product. A lot of it has to do with their standard offerings and the proof point on them. This is just right up my alley. Most of the tasting notes that I get off of batch proof are my favorite tasting notes of higher proof bourbons.
Yeah.
What I found in batch proof is, year to year, their consistency is pretty darn good. So we wanted to taste three different ones. John was lucky enough to get a sample of, I believe it's the 2020 batch, the 123.6, but we also have the 118.4, which I believe is the 2022 batch.
Yeah.
And 2023 batch, the 124.7.
Yep.
This is the first one I've seen under 120 proof.
Well, they've only been doing it since 2018, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been a super long time.
So thank you to Scott Smart, one of our members of our community. He sent this sample to me a while back, actually, and I've been waiting for the right time to open it up.
Nice.
And now's the right time.
Yeah,
so
that's perfect.
Let's get to pouring. We're not going to do this blind.
We are going to do them in succession of proof point, though.
Wow, you are so much faster at pouring than I am. All right, so we're starting with 2022's, the 118.4 proof. Woodford almost always, on the front of the nose, gives me orange marmalade.
So I get orange marmalade and chocolate covered cherries are like the two favorite tasting notes that I have of batch proof. And I feel like it's the two things that carry over extremely well to palate. The other thing that I do get on this one is a little bit of like mustiness. You get that aged oak, but it turns like earthy funk a little bit.
I got a little bit of like vanillas, some caramels, some oak. I think it noses above 118. I would think that this smells more like it's in the 125 to 130 range than a 118 proof.
Yep, agreed.
Ready to try it?
I am.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's deeply dark chocolate on the palate. Like, it starts very dark chocolatey. Actually, you said dark chocolate covered cherries?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the note here.
That's probably one of my favorite tasting notes on palate. If I get that like deep cherry flavor, I get that a lot in what used to be Stag Junior, now it's just Stag, but that deep cherry is just an awesome palate flavor for me. I do think they proofed it to 118 because of what you said on the nose. Like, you're getting that 125-ish proof. It definitely drinks hotter than it is.
So that is an interesting point. And I'm going to go on a mini rant. So the interesting point here is that they chose batch proof instead of barrel proof. So barrel proof is a technically regulated term by the TTB, although it is an addendum term. That label means that you cannot add water to it. It has to be uncut, unfiltered. Batch proof is technically a term that means nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can put that on your labels and you are not held to any kind of standard. And it's possible that they do not cut or filter. Either way, it's tasty.
It's very tasty.
Yeah. And I really do think this drinks more like it's in that 125 proof.
Definitely drinks higher than its proof level. I love the 118 proof. I think it got all the right notes for me. It doesn't get too hot. Front, mid, back palate. You get the Kentucky hug. Like the mouthfeel is like, it just does a lot of things really well.
I don't know what else I can say about it other than it's fantastic. Drink a little water.
Number 2.
Reset our palates. And then go in for the next one. Got to be a little gentle with these because they are quite a bit of proof. So this is the 2020 batch. They're all roughly the same color.
Yeah, the color is very consistent.
Oh, that's pennies. Like, that is the pennies portion of copper pot still. More of the copper than anything else.
I get less cherry. I still get that dark chocolate feel. I get cinnamon, like some of the baking spice notes on the nose of this one.
Baking spices and vanilla. Like, there's a good bit of vanilla, like, towards the middle. Okay.
If we're going to say baking spices, for me it's like cinnamon clove.
Sometimes it's good to define your baking spices. We're basically talking about pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Which would go great with my fest. We're just doubling down here.
I could see you walking through a pumpkin field in that vest with your family, picking pumpkins, holding a pumpkin spice latte.
There may or may not be photos of said description. I will be the first to admit I'm in on the pumpkin spice latte. Palate's way different here.
Yeah.
I think the nose between the first and the second had some pretty even similarities. I think the palate on this one is very different.
This drink's more like stag to me.
I agree. I think the overwhelming note on palate for me here is actually vanilla. It's like big time vanilla bomb for me.
If I had to nail it to one, it's chocolate, then cherries. Like, I get chocolate, cherry, then barrel, like some creme brulee, barrel char. I kind of view those as similar flavors. And then like vanillas and stuff like that. But if you did not let me smell this whiskey and just let me try it, I probably would guess that it's stag.
Creme brulee is a great note. I think it's got that like custardy vanilla deal going on. Really nice. Mouthfeel, awesome. You know, coats the glass really well. I do love that you're getting like front palate all the way to that like Kentucky hug in the chest. Like, it's the whole experience.
But it's not like, it's not hot.
No.
Like, this isn't like some whiskey that we really like Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923 is like a little bit unhinged. It's 130 proof that drinks, in some cases, I think it drinks like it's lower, but then the finish on Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is like straight Kentucky hug, and it like lingers in your mouth with like waves of heat.
So I know Kentucky hug is like the age-old saying. For me, Kentucky hug is a bourbon that you get that like warming. It shouldn't be burning. It shouldn't be unhinged. Like, wow, that is hot.
It's like a different type of hug.
Yeah.
It's like kind of burning your insides a little bit. That last sip was like a little bit funky, maybe grassy a little bit. I don't love that. Also, the sample has been sitting around for a long time, so
I think it's pretty consistent with what I would think out of Woodford Batch Proof.
All right, let's do the third one.
Third one.
This is this year's 124.7 proof.
Yes.
This is your bottle because you cracked yours and you told me emphatically not to crack mine.
So there's a reason for that, and we'll get to that. I want to taste through them all. You know, rank what you think is best to worst. I have thoughts on this one. Obviously, I've drank almost half the bottle at this point, so it's not bad. I still get a little bit of that copper penny deal on the nose. I get more brown sugar. This one's a little more muted for me.
It is muted. I don't get any of that pot still note on this. Like, I don't get orange marmalade. I don't think I get pennies.
Like, the second I put it to my nose is when I get the pennies.
So right here, I smell something on the beginning of the nose, but I think it's closer to honeysuckle.
Like sweet floral.
Like, yeah, sweet floral. I'm getting like in here.
Yeah, this one is it's almost hard to pinpoint other than like your standard vanilla cairn, all the typical things that you're going to smell on bourbon.
I think this might be my favorite nose though.
Interesting.
Because I like a lot of the smells that it has, like honeysuckle, barrel char, brown sugar, maybe some maple, a little bit of nuttiness, like just a faint bit of like walnuts.
Do you feel like because it's more mild on the nose that you can pick up on those things a little bit better compared to the others too?
No, I think it's because it doesn't have that orange marmalade or like pot stilled note. And maybe it's just mental. Maybe I'm just like, because I don't get that, I'm digging for other things.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah.
I think this one's going to be pretty different than the other two.
Okay. I agree with that entirely.
Front palate, very herbal for me. Back palate's a little hot.
If you told me this was Elijah Craig, I would believe you. To me, it has a lot of the Elijah Craig type notes, and it's a little bit funky. Like, Elijah Craig has this, like, almost like musty nuts.
Listen, I get it.
Like, it just has, like...
If you cut that, I'll be upset because that has to stay.
I'm not talking about pieces of anatomy. I'm talking about, like, actual
Oh,
walnuts.
I fully understand that.
So,
like,
but that was more for the audience.
You buy the can of like Planters Deluxe and you leave it in the back of your pantry for too long. You're like, I didn't know I had this, and you open it back up and you're like, nah.
Yeah, or you're like your very wet basement.
Yeah,
like that's the funk. And I get a little bit of that, like a good bit of that, like vanilla that comes from barrel char, a little bit of chocolate. This is the most off profile from the other two. And I think that could be good for some people. It could be bad for some people. It's also, there's a good bit of Kentucky hug. This one's the hottest.
for sure.
Yeah. So it is the highest proof.
Highest proof point. Yeah. But it also, I think most of these, if I were to drink blind, I would guess higher than the proof that they actually are. The first two, I feel like you would guess a couple proof points higher. This one, I think I would guess considerably higher.
Are you sure you didn't fill this with an Elijah Craig barrel proof?
I'm positive.
Okay. I feel like it's not like any of the ones from the last few years, but I could definitely get like Elijah Craig barrel proof vibes from this. If you were like, haha, it's a 120. I don't know. I dig this, but in a different way.
It's not the same as the others.
The nose is very syrupy. The palate is spicy and delicious.
Yes.
Let's get to your thoughts, because I don't think mine are that great. I think I have a very cop-out kind of thought on this.
So I will tell you from the ones I've had in the past, this year's offering, the last one that we drank, yes, it is still good. But at the price point, I feel like it falls below what I expect.
Okay. Out of the other two, what do you like?
I actually like 2. And 2 I have not had before.
Okay.
I think 2 was really, really good. I think it sticks to all of the typical batch proof notes that I get, nose and palate. But I like the proof point. Yeah, I like 2 the best.
I agree. B is the best Woodford batch proof. But I think C is the best whiskey.
Interesting.
I agree with you. I don't think it tastes particularly Woodfordy. You could easily, in a blind, convince me that it is not a Woodford product. When we're looking for Woodford, the 1 and 2 are what I expect. And I really did like 1, honestly. And I actually think 1 drank the hottest. I think this year's, and this, I'm pretty sure is still available on PA's website. If you're watching this from Pennsylvania, I would recommend getting one of these. It's like $150, right?
It is $149,
okay.
I believe.
So if we're comping it, right, we're giving it a comparison, I would compare that to Stag.
That I feel the same way, and that's why I feel like it falls short for me. Because if I put this up against a Stag, I buy Stag 10 times out of 10.
I get that. But you're not finding Stag at MSRP. It is at the top end of what I would pay for it.
Oh, for sure.
But it is a bottle that you can buy, that you want to fill that high-end spot in your collection.
Yeah.
That is at least purchasable at the moment. I think we need to talk about one more thing. It is an absolute travesty that Woodford does not have a cast strength, batch proof, whatever, that is readily available.
Yes, I agree. And I think a good conclusion to this whole tasting is that what they're putting out in batch proof is not standard Woodford.
I don't know why they don't have a regular offering. Like, even if you just made a rare breed competitor, because there's not a rare breed competitor.
I'm a little disappointed in Woodford I feel like they're stuck in this, like, we know people love the Woodford 90.4, and we don't want to change that. But I think the whiskey community has changed, and I think if they put out even somewhere in between of these, like if you put out a 115 proof or 110 proof offering of Woodford, it would be gobbled up so quick you couldn't keep it on the shelf. I think we're united in saying that our level of bourbon drinker would love for Woodford to put out a regular offering at a higher proof point, because it would change Woodford's position in the community. I don't buy Woodford other than this and some of the Masters collections, but I would if there was a higher proof offering. Start making that Woodford when you're watching this.
I don't think Woodford's watching this, but if you are,
the off chance they are,
make a rare breed competitor.
Yes.
So if you've had any of these, we would love to hear from you guys. We'd love to hear what is your favorite Woodford batch proof.
Yeah.
if you like this content. Please like and comment on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. We have a high volume of people who are watching us who have not subscribed. So drop a subscribe. It's free.
It's fun to watch.
It's fun to watch.
You can make fun of my vest in the comments.
Yeah. So like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope you join us in drinking like a gentleman. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like when you're driving to it, it's
yeah.
like literally horse farms and then Woodford, and you expect Woodford to be another horse farm.
You see a lot of people in quilted vests.
Yes.